Ladies and gentlemen, there are fewer babies in America, and there's a lot of finger pointing going on. Women are saying it's not entirely their fault that there are fewer babies in America, but they feel that they have taken the brunt of the blame. So this came out in the Daily Beast. Yes, women are making fewer babies, but no, it's not women's fault. So this is December 3rd, 2019. America, it seems, is short on babies. While most developed countries watch their birth rates gradually decline over the 1990s and 2000s. U.S. birth rates remain high and then plummeted over the past 10 years from 70 births per 1,000 women in 2007 down to a record low of 59 in 2018. In response to these declines has been such that the Center for Disease Control and Prevention might as well retitle its vital statistic report, Everybody Panic. There has been widespread public consternation that a low birth rate will put the economy in peril. And they're right, because when the baby boomers die out, it's going to be fewer people contributing to the economy. And America has jacked the prices up around here so high. Now you expect fewer people to carry these overpriced things you got out here? It ain't going to turn out so well. So, ladies and gentlemen, with some imagining the United States will soon face Japanese population crisis and fretting for a future for American family when having children is no longer a priority. A priority for women, that is because apparently women are entirely responsible for determining when and how many babies are born. All of the blame for the decline in birth rates has been laid at the feet of women, who by all appearances are blatantly ignoring the signs of everyone that if they delay having children, they might not have them at all. This despite good evidence that if women are delaying having children, it is part because men are delaying even longer. So a lot of finger pointing between the men and the women right now. Much has changed in the world in recent decades, but one constant is that making babies is a two-body problem, even if those bodies aren't involved in the childbearing. And for the majority of heterosexual women who do not want to raise children alone, the decision of when and how many children is subject to a binding constraint, finding a suitable and willing partner to father those children. And that is true. Remember, less people are getting married in America. So there's less procreating going on too. So that is a problem if you're a woman that want to have children. The share of childless people who say they want to have a baby in the future decreases with age. This stands to reason. Most people who say they want children have them when they're young, such as this shrinks the pool of childless and child-wanting people. In addition, the realities of parenthood are more apparent at age 35. Now, let's stop right there. Ladies and gentlemen, they set the standard of age 35 based on white women in this country. Okay, that is the age they start having problems with bearing children. Now, if you look in other parts of the world, such as Africa, those women have babies well into their 60s. A lot of times when you see an older African woman holding a baby, that's her baby. That's not her grandbaby. That's her baby. Okay? But when you come to the Western part of the world, these women set the standard at 35 because that's when white women start having complications with having babies. Look, my grandmother had her first child at 16. She had her last one at 39, y'all. She didn't have a problem having none of those children. None. All live births. But that's where the standard of 35 come from. It comes from the standard they set for white women. So then they try to put that standard on everybody, and it really does not fit on every woman, to be perfectly honest with you, nor has it ever fit on every woman. All right, let's get back to this. Then they are age 18 and the desire to parent changes over our lifetime, sometimes unpredictable ways. So people do not set standards for having babies like they did, years ago, like 1950s. People don't set those 1950 standards for having babies today. And the whole attitude about having children is totally different out here. At least I notice it. Okay. If we want to understand why there are fewer babies being born, we need to stop obsessing over the behavior of women, which isn't really that complicated, and start trying to understand the behavior of men. Well, why not understand the behavior of both? What is surprising is how much men and women differ in their intentions to have children over their lifetime. When I look at nationally representative data, the share of single childless men who say they intend to have a child exceeds that of women at every age, except when women are in what we think of as prime childbearing age, 25 to 34 years old. Younger men are more likely to say they intend to have children, 89% of men to 85% of women. Older men, too, with 46% of men aged 35 to 44 saying they intend to have children, compared to only 38% of women at that age. A full 32% of single childless men age 45 to 54 believe they will have a child in the future. What is even more interesting is that compared to women who want children, men who want children are much more likely to say they don't want them anytime soon. For example, 34% of single childless men aged 25 to 34 who want children wait at least 5 years before having them, compared to 15% of women who want the same. Even men a decade older are willing to wait to have children. 61%, 35 to 44-year-olds would like to wait 2 to 5 years, and 19% would like to wait more than 5 years, compared to 51% of women who want them within the next 5 years. These decisions of men are understandable, while women are incessantly reminded that their fertile years are limited. And they're not. They're not for everybody, y'all. Again, they base childbearing based on white women, and then they use that as the standard for every woman. All right? This is their fertile years. All right. And if women are now delaying having children to an older age, at least part of that explanation is that their potential partners are delaying even longer. Research showed that men consistently overestimate how easy it would be to have children when they are older, and consistently underestimate how difficult it will be for medical interventions to overcome fertility problems. That's true. I was looking at an article, y'all, and it said that Swiss men have the lowest fertility rate in all of Europe. you know so you can't always depending on the man. I know this is just like infertility don't apply to all men, but see what they do is they'll set the standard according to what's happening to white men in this country, because that's who dominates in the country. So whoever's dominating, that's the standard they go by. But in reality, that standard does not apply to all men. Just like white women's standards of the age 35 having babies don't apply to all women. But because they are the dominant class in the country, they set the standards for these things. So, that would not be the case for a man over in Africa, just because this is happening to white Western men. So just keep that in mind when you hear these articles, who their standards for fertility is for. It certainly isn't for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, men's fertility decreases as they age. Even if declining fertility for men wasn't the issue, men are also subject to a two-body problem. It is easy to say men can have children at any age. Many can. But if you're having fertility issues, yeah, that would be a problem. But even a fertile man will be childless unless he finds a fertile woman willing to bear his child. Right. That's true. Despite perceptions, very few women in their 30s are looking for older men to marry. On average, women want husbands that are slightly older than themselves, 3.5 years older. And the average age difference between heterosexual married couples is just over 2 years. The hard truth is that if a man cannot find a 35-year-old woman to start a family with when he is 35, he is probably not going to find a 35-year-old woman to start a family with, even if he's 50. So women alone are not responsible for the end of babies. And the truth be told, the decline in fertility is more the result of declining teen births. And that's true. Less teenagers are having children. Down 7% in 2018 alone. Then is older women putting off childbearing until it's too late to have them. Declining in births is probably not the social crisis that so many imagine it to be. We are not Japan, and the American family will likely survive. I don't know. Y'all are not acting like it's going to survive. I see a bunch of people out here panicking. But it is concerning that people are having fewer children than they desire, reflecting the possibility that the system has been rigged to make it difficult to achieve what many believe to be one of the greatest joys in life. We don't actually know how many children American men desire, as the CDC only reports on the fertility desires of women. But if we want to understand why there are fewer babies being born, we need to stop obsessing over behaviors of women, which isn't really that complicated. It's what I said earlier. I won't hold my breath when it comes to the business of having or not having babies. We seem to be remarkably unwilling to admit that men play any role at all. Well, I don't know who we are, but men absolutely would have to play a role. We wouldn't be able to have families without the man and the woman. So, but ladies and gentlemen, like I said, these articles are coming out a lot more often because they can't no longer hide this kind of stuff or act like it's not happening. It absolutely is happening. You know, there are so many things declining in this country, including, and we don't talk about it all the time, the baby industry. There are fewer diapers being sold, baby food, I mean, everything, toys, the whole gamut. And you have a lot of maternity wards closing, like a story I did on Iowa, closing their maternity wards because there are just not enough babies being born. And this trend is not slowing down, it's actually accelerating. And there's already signs when you look at colleges are reporting more non-white students. And then you also have public schools all around the country, more non-white students. And I did a story back over the summer. There were more 18 to 25-year-olds, non-white, entering the workforce for the first time. So everything is going to have to change. Nothing is going to ever be the same in America. It's inevitable, you know? And just sit back, ladies and gentlemen. They have really worked hard to keep their criminal system as white as possible. Just sit back and watch. That's going to gradually turn. You just watch. It's going to be hard to keep dominating white female teachers and white cops and all that stuff when you don't have the population to keep that up. Just watch. Everything is going to turn browner and browner and browner and browner and a lot more melanated in this country. Because without babies, you cannot maintain the system that you got right now. If you got generations of smaller population of children, there is no way you're going to be able to keep a lot of these positions the way that it looks today. It will be impossible. I even read an article where they're saying that a lot of these people, when they get out of jail after serving their time and they have a hard time getting into the workforce, that's about to change. They're not going to be able to maintain shutting people out anymore because of the population change. So you're going to see a lot of things turn around, not because it's wanted, because it will be forced. They won't have a choice. They won't have a choice, y'all. And this is coming up on them fast. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And before we go, I want you to also take notice to all of the articles that are popping up now about the need for more Black male teachers. There's a reason why those articles are cropping up a lot more now. And it's because of this, ladies and gentlemen, the low birth rate. They know they are not going to be able to hold out shutting Black teachers out anymore. They're not going to be able to do it. Peace, family.